So first of all, I'd just like to say hello to my new subscriber, Enisorian. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And Enisorian requested a video or asked about the Last Starfighter sequel. Now, I am a massive fan of the original Last Starfighter film. It's one of those it's just steeped in the 1980s, that film. If you don't know what The Last Starfighter is, it's a film about a kid who, I say a kid, a guy in his late teens who is playing this obscure video game in small town America, and he's always trying to beat the top score on it, and it's basically like a sort of shooter game in space. And when he finally beats the top score, what happens is it's like the video game sends out a signal, and a representative from I can't remember the name of it, not the Federation, but it's something similar to that. They send down an alliance of other planets send down a representative to come and get him to be a starfighter, because he's passed the test, and they put these cabinets in different worlds so people can play video games, and when they get really good at it, they then get trained as a starfighter. So that's what the film is about. And I'll do maybe a video specifically about the Last Starfighter at some point. But anyway, it's a great film. It's so underrated. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so there have been rumours. I've kind of been following the rumours about the sequels, but I think it kind of, unfortunately, at the moment, sort of died out. I think about a year or two ago there was a lot of talk about a sequel. Nick Castle, the director, was trying to get Lance Guest, who was the actor, and some of the other cast, obviously not Robert Preston because unfortunately he's passed away, but try to get them back for a sequel. In fact, I think it's even listed on IMDb with taglines about Alex Rogan, the name of the Last Starfighter, returning to Earth and all that. So I think what happened is initially studios had showed interest in it, and they were going to go and they developed a script. As far as I'm aware, a script was written, and I think the last I read was maybe a few months ago, where I think the script is still being passed around, and it's basically a case of trying to get funding for the film. So I don't think it's dead, but it's in development hell at the moment, unfortunately. I would love to see a sequel, because I'm all for sequels, although I really love to see original work. I'm all for sequels. It's remakes that I'm a bit iffy on, because sequels, if they're bad, they're bad. As long as they don't infer anything on the original film, then it's fine. And sometimes it's just good, it's fun seeing the characters that you loved in subsequent movies. So I think that's where they stand with it. But what I would say is, if Tron Legacy is successful, then I think there's an even better chance that the Last Starfighter sequel will get made. And the reason for that is that Tron and the Last Starfighter, I think, were brought out around about the same time. I think around about 1984 or something like that. And I might have got the date wrong, but I think it was around then. And they both were the sort of first films to have a substantial amount of the film being computer generated. See, in the last Starfighter, all the spaceship scenes, all the external shots of the spaceships and the action scenes and things like that were all done in computer. Were all rendered in computers rather than done with models and cameras. So it's really interesting. I mean, even if you end up not liking the film, just if you're a film buff, just like historically speaking, it's really interesting watching it, because I think there's like 28 minutes of CG in this film, and it's late in the early 80s, and it works really well for the time. Yeah, sure, it's aged, but what they did was fantastic at the time. So anyway, I think of Tron Legacy because it's got a similar sort of vibe to it in a lot of ways. And you've got the idea of this character being taken into a completely different world, a technological world that's far different to the world that he's used to living in. There are a lot of parallels between them, and visually There are a hell of a lot of parallels between them, and I think that the Last Starfighter, if Tron Legacy's successful, then studios will start looking around to see if there's any other properties that they can resurrect, maybe from that era. There you go, you've got the Last Starfighter. The only problem with it is it's quite a cult film. There are a lot of people who know about it, but it's not a massive film, whereas Tron is a bigger film. I think it's better known. But I think there's a sizable audience out there for the Last Starfighter. You go online, there's a lot of people that talk about that film. So again, thank you for subscribing, and thanks for requesting a video or asking a question about that. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a sequel, but let's say that's the last I heard. If anyone else knows anything else about it, definitely comment below and let us know about it. But fingers crossed, we'll get it eventually. And I hope you're all having a good day. Thanks again.